Hello, it's me, Liv, down here in good old Melbourne, Australia, where the weather is like 31 degrees and storming outside, so it's just lovely. Thankfully, my house is coping with the heat, so I'm glad. I've been up since, well, technically this time I actually did set all of my alarms so that they worked exactly how they needed to. So they all woke me up. I think I set like 4 of them throughout my house, and they all very much woke me up. I'm still able to completely ignore them and go back to sleep. But thankfully I did get up just before 9. I knew my doctor was calling me at 9:30 with my results. I'm going to have to spell what the results are that came out of my foot in the description, because I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. All I know is that it is so unbelievably rare that in all the years that my doctor has been working, that's like 30 plus, she's like a full-blown amazing, she's like the best doctor I've ever met, honestly, in all fairness. Hence, I'm travelling an hour in each direction to the clinic, which is private, which still charges pensioners. Either way, what are you going to do? I need the help. Yeah? But yeah, no, it was quite amusing. She called me and she was like, I don't even know what this is. She couldn't even pronounce it. Like, it was fun for me in a sense, because I'm on the phone to her and I can hear her trying to figure out what's happening, like, as we're talking. And she was like, I've never ever dealt with this. I've never seen it before. It is so unbelievably rare. There's like almost no, like, I've tried like Googling like peer reviewed and all the, when you try to research something on the internet, people, as a university student, I can tell you 100%, if it's not coming from a peer-reviewed article, it could be leading out the garden fucking wall, yeah? So, anyway, I've found a number of articles and they all seem to involve exactly the same person, and the case that involved around him, because of how rare this is. Like, my doctor couldn't believe it. She reckons that I'm one of the luckiest people ever, because usually when someone gets whatever it was that's in my foot, and again, not going to try and pronounce it, haven't a fucking clue how. I will write it down though. But apparently they, like, having it in my foot, she said, is unheard of. Like, the only cases so far that clinicians are aware of are when they appear in the chest and the abdomen, and you usually get, like, she reckons 10 at once. So I obviously have to be monitored to make sure I don't get any more, because how I got the first one, who the fuck knows, yeah? But pretty sure I've been saying it for like 708 days now, that I'm here on this planet at this point in time to basically go through as many fucking bullshit scenarios that I can imagine, right? And there's a whole list of things that nobody knows about that I've gone through. Like, people think that I share literally everything, which I find amusing, because I do share basically everything. Like, I literally told the 2 receptionists at my psychologist, like, reception area, that anything I say to my actual psychologist, I will say to them. And I will say it to you, because let's face it, I film them and then I put them online. I mean, just for the record, if any of you all are just like, why does she do this? It's because if you're honest with yourself, the majority of the world, the population, and yes, I do generalize, and I'm aware of that. What am I trying to say? Where am I at? Generalized population. Fuck, see, I'm writing a lab report with 40% of my grade, and I can't get to the end of a goddamn fucking sentence. But, yeah, anyway, so I've got these results. I don't know what's going to happen. I saw my psychologist on Wednesday. As I think I've explained, I'm fully out of the free ones. I had every intention to pay my psychologist her hourly fee, which is $200. And $200 for a session on a disability pension is a lot. But if you watch my therapy sessions, and I've been filming them for 2 years now, you will see, and I've had comments from so many people who can see just how amazing my psychologist is and the rapport we have. I mean, the latest one that I did on Wednesday, I've watched it twice myself. Obviously, once it's uploaded, because I don't watch things before I upload them. In the 707 days, or 708 days, I think, is today, since making these videos, I'm almost positive that I have watched 2 videos prior to putting them online. And the only reasons I did that was because don't ever do what I say I do. Please, let's just clarify this. These stories are my stories because I fuck shit up continuously, and I'm always in a massive confusion within myself. I'm never entirely sure where I'm at, what I'm doing, or if I'm even grounded down here correctly on earth. I know I have some very fucking major issues to deal with. This assignment, as I said in the fucking therapy session, has highlighted again more things that I do that I didn't know that I did until I learned about it. But anyway, so yeah, I'm pretty lucky about this foot thing, apparently. I personally think I'd be lucky if I didn't get it in the first place, but, you know, like I've said, Liv's purpose on earth is to suffer, literally, as much as fucking possible down here in 3D land, in my human self, because, as Gandhi says, yeah, when your thoughts and your actions and your beliefs are aligned, you'll be living congruently to what you believe, yeah? Whereas I have a set of beliefs that are like what drives me, yeah? And it's those beliefs that keep me going, yeah? Because I would have just kicked the bucket a long fucking time ago, I reckon, if it wasn't for what I've been through. And I constantly say I'm a very lucky person, because now that I flip the perspective, I actually can see that, because I used to consider myself a very unlucky person, given the fact that I actually literally am on a disability pension for a reason. There is no fucking way in hell that I could ever get a job anywhere, full-time, part-time, whatever, yeah? There's a reason I'm on disability, right? I absolutely adore the client I've been working with, you know, for a few months this year, but I have said, I believe, that they are moving interstate, and I have zero interest in doing that again, because my mental health is not good. And this is why I want to fucking live stream my house. Like, you know, my mum said to me the other day, I never get bored. And I'm like, huh. I thought to myself, well, that's lucky. I get bored all the fucking time. And it's it's not because I don't have a lot to do. It's just because with the brain capacity I've got, there's only so much that I can do before I start becoming overwhelmed. And then, like last night for dinner, oh, check my website. I made a meal that you would make literally for a toddler. Yeah, and that's all I could manage. Yeah, like I'm meant to have dropped off my second pair of glasses by now because I cannot remember if I've said this online, but again, I know I said it in therapy, and let's face it, if you don't watch any other of my videos, I, as obviously the creator, think it's entertaining, as well as helpful and all the other reasons I do this, but I just don't think I'd ever be able to know that someone is filming very live, real. These are real life psychology appointments for a person who's apparently mentally ill. I keep saying that. I'm mentally ill. It's fucking with my head. But anyway, no more labels. I am Liv. My therapist told me I need to trust me. I trust me. And I'm quite tempted to have that tattooed on me somewhere. So when I see her next, I'll be like, look, I took your fucking advice. I'm a big fan of finger tattoos, I'll be honest, because like most of the stuff I get on me are literal reminders. Yeah, like I hear how that sounds. Alright, what is today? It's the 8th of December. Yeah, 2023 at 3:31 in the afternoon. I've therapy in an hour. I've tutoring in 1 hour and haven't fucking managed shit yet, except crying a lot. And I literally took like 2 Valium about maybe an hour ago, just under an hour ago, because I couldn't stop crying. And again, it all comes down to the simple fact that I do know what the fuck I'm doing. I cannot get out of my fucking head. And of course, referencing stuff has to be done really well, yeah? So I'm trying to go through and cut words and get my intro to make sense so that it flows into my hypothesis, because I've already done my results, but I still have to freaking actually write them up, and I've only finally found them literally right before I turn this camera on, because I was like, I need to talk to someone. I'm going insane, yeah? In all fairness, like, I definitely want to clarify that I'm happy with the money I've spent on the tutoring, because regardless of what grade I get, I would honestly bet a lot of money on the fact that there is literally no way, like, all by myself I could have made it through. It would have been 1,000 times worse mentally and emotionally, which therefore causes the physical illnesses to increase. And it just wouldn't have been right. Like last trimester 1 was the first time I tried to do this unit. I'd obviously gotten an extension because none of the dates make any sense. I remember having my very first tutoring session the day before census, and I was so emotional at this point, because to be able to even do this fucking lab report, which is a nightmare, part of the software you need to create yourself. And I remember very distinctly that I couldn't for the love of God figure out how to do it. And I watched the session and I read the notes and I contacted the teachers and I went on the discussion boards and I did every single fucking thing I think I could think of to figure out how to do it, and I just couldn't get it to make sense. So I'd pretty much done fuck all by the time it got to the day before the census, yeah? So and I know I've explained this before, and I'll explain it again very quickly for anyone who might be new to my channel. So, having been diagnosed with ADHD just less than 2 years ago has thrown me for a sixer. I don't deal very well every time someone's like, oh, that's an ADHD thing, because I don't know what the fuck these ADHD things are. But I have no brain capacity to even try and think about a single thing other than uni and getting my fucking tickets to the Rocky Horror Show. Because I want to see it as many fucking times as I can. Yeah? Anyway, I don't really know what I'm doing. I know it'll get done. I now have the extension, so it's not due until the 22nd of fucking December. All's well and ends well. But you got to remember my second assignment is also worth 40%, and it's based all on this fucking software crap. Yeah. My tutor says he'll be able to help me get through it. All of this wonderful stuff. But anyway, thankfully, I think talking to you and definitely the volume has helped me feel like me again. I feel like me. I'm not crying, I'm not anxious, I'm just like, it'll get done, what'll be done, as my therapist says. And it's honestly so fucking dumb anyway, because I've well and truly got the grades for philosophy. I have zero intention of going back to university for, I say 1 year, it might be 5. Who the fuck knows? I need to figure out me. And I am a highly sensitive, emotional, quick to tears, very clearly, unfortunately, suffer from reactive relational aggression. Motherfucker, do I learn a lot through these units. So yeah. And as I've said, like, I was put on temp disability at 24, by 26 declared totally permanently disabled, by 27 someone handed me a pipe with crystals. I was like, life can't get no fucking worse, can it? You know? And well, I wasn't expecting to end up with an ice addiction, that's for sure, but I managed to kick back and do it in a way without rehab or detox or doctors or anything. Like, I smoked around the clock for years, and I realized, like Gandhi says, I needed to be the person I needed to see, because people who are in the depths of the darkness and the nothingness and the hell that all of us have been through, I truly believe there's not a single person on this planet, except for possibly a brand new born baby, that doesn't have sadness behind their eyes, right? Every single one of us, in some sense or another, has been through something, and I truly believe that. That's the world we fucking live in, yeah? And so helping others really matters to me, and getting this degree matters to me. And I need the degree. Like, I actually will need this degree at some point when I go to do the other degrees, which will happen. I wasn't even 6 months clean of ice when I was, like, interviewed to go on television, and I was like, and the whole thing started with that I'm supposed to be a public speaker. I need to be able to help people who are in the darkness, because nobody in the darkness wants to fucking listen to someone who's come out the goddamn other end. When I was in the darkness, smoking my eyes, hiding in my house, unable to leave, and let's face it, plenty of times that I've locked myself in my house and just shut down from the world. No, I haven't smoked ice, because, you know, you go on national television twice and vow that you will never ever do it again. You don't do it again. Kind of sounds like that's the only reason I haven't done it again, but I will never touch ice, but I'm also never going to be someone who says I don't like drugs, because I smoke weed every day because I'm prescribed it, and psychedelics I fucking love. And in all fairness, I've asked every single fucking person I know to figure out how to get me DMT. So that's where I'm at. But I really do have less than an hour, and I've got to at least try to get this analysis written up, because if nothing else, like, I keep telling my friends I'm so fucking embarrassed. Like, I'm embarrassed. And they're like, why are you embarrassed? This is an extremely hard assignment. And it's like, well, this is true, but I'm getting these tutoring sessions, which again, amazing, definitely needed. I just turn into this, oh my god, helpless, invalid, overwhelmed, anxious mess when I'm by myself. But having talked to all of you lovely people for over 20 minutes now, I'm going to do something. I don't know what. It's quite hot here, but I think I might go make myself a coffee, or if I'm honest, I think I'm going to have a cigarette. I really don't usually smoke cigarettes. I don't like smoking vapes. I don't really want to be smoking nicotine at all, but again, I am of the opinion that you are literally wasting every single bit of breath and effort and time should you try to convince anyone in your life to do something because you want them to. So, perfect example, if you have a partner or a friend or what the fuck ever the situation, and one smokes, cigarette smoking or vaping or whatever, don't waste your breath telling them to stop is my theory, okay? Because they're just going to smoke more. It's like me. Like, I don't eat meat and animal products as well. Like, I eat cheese and eggs sometimes, but, I'm mostly plant-based. And yet, I will never be that person who will talk about why everyone needs to be plant-based, because every single person's meat eater's ego is just going to run off to the store and eat like 3 times the amount of meat. So it's like, well, why bother? But yeah, I'm all over the place, which is not new at day 708, but I really got to get my shit going. I really got to remember not to leave my videos until it's late, because I actually get so much out of these. So I am wishing you all a happy Friday, sending you love, and I will check in later. Bye, people.